I'm Mark.
And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV, episode number 192. Coming to you from Alter Ego Comics in Lima, Ohio, with this week's best comics. My first pick this week is no surprise to anyone on the planet Earth. It is Saga, issue number 25, the triumphant return of Saga for 5 or 6 months until they take a vacation again to stay on schedule. This is the first issue. For those of you keeping track with your scorecards, this is the first issue after the 4th collected edition. So if you're reading Saga in trade paperback format and you've read up through volume 4, 25 is the issue where you want to jump in so you can get monthly doses, including the awesome letters pages and any other cool supplemental material that BKV and Fiona Staples decide to throw into the back of the monthly issues, because that's the format that they tell you they want you to be buying. Actually, in the back of this issue, they reiterate it. We want you to buy it in monthly format so you experience it monthly. Episodically. So, Saga 25. It took me a little while to remember what was going on in Saga 24. Not apparently, but the family has been split in half. There was a kidnapping. One parent is close.
I don't know by what metric that's in half. I mean, they say in half in the book, but it's
because
like everybody.
It's a mother,
Marco,
father, and a child, and so they
and a grandmother.
So I guess it's two.
And all of them except Marco.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I cannot say enough good things about Saga, and neither can Josh.
No.
So you should just buy it. There are some disturbing things that are dropped in this issue, though. Remember that it's narrated by Hazel, the baby, and she reveals some things that kind of made me sad.
Yeah.
And you'll have to pick up the issue and read it and find out. But, for my money, the best comic this week was Saga number 25.
And it has an awesome wraparound cover.
It does, and it's still $2.99.
What a deal. No ads.
Geesh. Great letters pages in the back.
Great content. Next up is my pick of the week. Are we doing the NPR announcer voice?
Sure, you may. Yes.
I can't do it on command.
We've been doing this so long. Just change it up. Do whatever. Talk like a duck. I don't care.
We've got Star Wars number 2, written by Jason Aaron with art by John Cassidy, and it's just as awesome as Star Wars number 1. If you haven't checked out Star Wars number 1 yet, you're mistaken. You should get on that.
You should hurry down to Alter Ego Comics, because I think we still have a handful of first printings.
First printings, yes.
Still in stock. It is now in a 3rd printing.
Which will be out in 2 weeks, I think.
Something like that, but it's sold a bajillion copies. It's the highest selling comic of the 21st century.
Really?
It is, yes.
Awesome. But, yeah, I that's all there is to it. Star Wars is still great. The characterizations are still solid. Cassidy's art is still pretty. And, matter of fact, if anything, this is a little shorter, so it didn't feel like I got as huge a chunk as the first oversized issue. But there were a couple points in the first issue where I had some, not necessarily qualms, but some of the voices were a little off, especially with 3PO. I felt like he was a little tinny, not in the good way. But this one, I felt the characterizations were actually more solid than the first issue, and we get to see some interesting stuff. All too often in the Star Wars tie-in universe, you get stuff that's kind of watered down, that doesn't sort of treads water, and we're seeing interesting things that I really didn't expect because we've never gotten this kind of Star Wars adaptation that's a little bolder, and I'm really enjoying it.
It's bold. It's refreshing. It's zesty. It's like Squirt.
Squirt.
Does anyone still drink Squirt?
If you can find it. Is that bottled by A&W? Or is
don't know. It's still around.
7-Up?
Star Wars number 2, just as good as Star Wars number 1, with more action, believe it or not. This is page, cover-to-cover action.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say wall-to-wall action, but it's cover-to-cover action in the mighty Marvel manner.
I'm pretty sure parts of this I acted out with action figures when I was a kid.
I'm sure Jason Aaron did.
Yeah.
Another number 2 issue for me this week. Ant-Man number 2 by Nick Spencer and Ramon Rosanas continues to be top notch. My expectations were blown away with Ant-Man number 1. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it had perfect timing because it came out the week that the Ant-Man trailer hit the airwaves. It continues the saga of Scott Lang, the reformed criminal, sometimes Avenger, sometimes leader of the FF, sometimes dead, all the time father, sometimes father of a dead girl, all kinds of crazy stuff going on in Ant-Man. It feels very much like Superior Foes of Spider-Man, also written by Nick Spencer. A little bit of Hawkeye thrown in there. A little bit of She-Hulk. It's definitely on the lighter side of the Marvel universe, but there's still action, there's still humor, there's still drama, there's still humanity. It's just a really great book and makes me look forward to the new Ant-Man movie, or I should say the Ant-Man movie, coming out this summer. So if you picked up Ant-Man #1, much like Star Wars this week, if you picked up Ant-Man #1, Ant-Man #2 is more of the same goodness. If you haven't picked up Ant-Man #1, you may have missed the boat, at least on a first printing.
Second printings are in now.
Second printings are in now, so you can still get both issues here.
And also, if you're super amped for the Ant-Man movie, out this week was Marvel's Ant-Man Prelude Part 1, which is set in the cinematic universe and presumably gives us some backstory before the movie itself. So, if you want anything you can know about Ant-Man, that would be the next place I would look. Yes. Michael Douglas is not in the book. Doesn't look at all like him. Next up, we've got all new Captain America #1, Fear Him. This is written by Dennis Hopeless with art by someone Kurdansky. Let's say... Oh, I'm sorry. Dennis Hopeless with Rick Remender, although Remender doesn't get a cover mention. He is mentioned on the interior credits, which makes sense, I guess, as the writer of Cap. And penciler is Szymon Kurdansky. This is set in the Marvel Universe following... Basically, it's in the same timeline as the current all-new Captain America series. So you've got Falcon active as Cap. You've got Steve Rogers being sort of Oracle over the radio, working from the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters or wherever he's operating out of. And you've got Steve's son, whose name, again, eludes me, out fighting crime with him. Ian. Nomad sometimes is a superhero name, which hasn't been used quite enough yet. And this was pretty solid. They're going up against a fear-based villain, and the character interactions were cool. I actually really liked the issue. It was fun.
Thank you, Josh.
I blacked out for a minute. Well, no, I was realizing, because when I read it, I'm like, I thought it was a Remender book, and then now I'm seeing that Hopeless was co-writing it, and that surprises me, I guess. I mean, I like Hopeless as well, but he's totally different. So it did an excellent job. If you're liking what Remender's doing in All New Cap, this is an excellent compliment to that.
All right. My last regular pick this week, one of the highlights for me, was Superman #38, written by Jeff Johns, artwork by John Romita Jr. I'm going to keep doing things with my hands. It's right here. Look at this cover. They're about to make out, aren't they? I don't know. So this is this is the final chapter of the opening arc by by Johns and Romita Jr. Who knows how long they're staying on the book, but I hope it's a very long time because I actually want to read the Superman book.
Who knows how long the book will be published, because in 2 months the DC universe blows up.
Because of Convergence, who knows what's going to happen. But Johns is just such a great writer, and I wish he was allowed to write more. My understanding is that his position at DC only allows him to write 2 books or something along 1 book and a sometimes book. I don't know. But lots of cool stuff happens with this. If you're a Superman fan, you have to pick up Superman #38. Because Superman displays a new power, and it's a pretty impressive one, and it has some pretty strong ramifications as well. So in this issue, we get the wrap-up of what is this guy's name? His name's Neil, but I don't remember.
Yeah, his real name's Neil. I don't know what his superhero name is, or supervillain.
Neil Adams. No. Neil Tyson Degrassi Junior High? I don't know what's going on. Word association. Ready? Go. Superman 38. It's got this Neil guy from the 4th Dimension who comes, and so that storyline is wrapped up. You've got Superman displaying a new power. Supposedly Superman gets a new costume, but I didn't really notice anything significant. And there's a pretty big revelation that goes along here. Batman's in here. Alfred's in here. There's no reason not to pick this up. Really good stuff. This whole story arc has been excellent and thoroughly entertaining.
All right, and last up for me this week, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy X-Men, The Black Vortex, written by Sam Humphries with art by Ed McGuinness.
Ed McGuinness and Chris Anka.
Related to Paul Anka, second cousins. This is a crossover. This is the Marvel Spaceverse for the moment. The main teams are the all-new X-Men, as well as some of the Uncanny X-Men, and people from the Wolverine school. I don't even know where the teams break down anymore. There's a bunch of X-Men in here. And then this is also going to be crossing over with Guardians of the Galaxy. Star-Lord, Cyclops is off in space, so he gets in. Nova gets in for an issue. Miss Marvel, Guardians team up. All the spacey, mutant-y goodness you want rolled into a delicious treat here is in the Black Vortex. And the plot is spinning out of the developments we've seen both in Guardians and in Star-Lord, where Peter's father, Jason of Spartax, who's been deposed by Peter himself in Guardians a little over 6 months ago, is now operating as a criminal underworld guy.
A kingpin.
He's a kingpin. He's a kingpin, space kingpin.
A galactic kingpin.
Space
Kingpin.
Called Mr. Knife or Knife Face.
Yeah,
it's a dumb name.
That is a dumb name.
But it centers around a weird artifact called the Black Vortex that is having some interesting interactions with powers. But where this book really shined for me was the character interactions. I love the Guardians on the ship hanging out between missions. I like anytime you take 2 or 3 different groups in the Marvel Universe, shove them together, the way they just interact and talk and catch up is priceless to me. I love that. But there is also some cool conflict arising out of this and some personality stuff going on. So, space, Marvel, mutants, awesome.
So this is Black Vortex Alpha, which is the first chapter. It's a bookend, so the middle chapters are going to be in the regular series,
right.
And then there will be presumably an
Omega.
Yep. Or Z. I don't know.
April, I believe.
Something like that. Cool. All right, a couple public service announcements. American Vampire Second Cycle returns this week after a lengthy hiatus, and I still don't know why. No one has called to inform me. Mr. Snyder, Mr. Albuquerque, I don't know why it's taken so long to get this book out, but I'm thankful that it's back. I guess being away from American Vampire for so long really made me appreciate the content of this comic and how much I missed characters like Pearl and Skinner Sweet and Hobbs and Felicia Book and all of those people. So American Vampire, again, in my opinion, one of the best comic book series, I'll say it again, of the 21st century. Really great stuff. So it's
Spoiler
back.
alert.
American Vampire fans, it's back. Also back is Superman Earth 1, Volume 3. So this is the continuation of J. Michael Straczynski's Superman stuff.
It was groundbreaking Superman stuff.
It was groundbreaking. What was it called?
Oh no, the Grounded was the series he was on.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
But
this
no,
is not the crappy Grounded. This is
Grounded wasn't crappy. I enjoyed
know.
Grounded. I mean,
this is a continuation of the ultimization of the DC universe. So if Superman first appeared on the scene today, which is not significantly different than what's going on in the New 52.
Well, no, I think in a lot of ways this book was the blueprint for the New 52. It came out, it blew up. They immediately pulled Straczynski off of his other books to work on more of them. I think they saw that people would accept a new origin or new changes to the Superman mythos, and that may be part of the impetus for why we got the New 52.
What's that? And the original graphic novel format, I think, helps because there is nothing. When you finish this book, if you don't want to read anything else, you don't have to. You can wait until the next chapter comes out. So they found success with Batman Earth 1, Teen Titans Earth 1 is now available, and now we've got Superman Earth 1 Volume 3. This is a hardcover, again written by Straczynski. We've got new artists this time, Artie and Saif, who we love from other things, including, I think, Superman, Wonder Woman, and something else, maybe Superman, Batman. He's done a bunch of stuff over at DC. Shane Davis apparently was unavailable. So Artie and Saif doing the art. Haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but just an FYI, it's here. If you've enjoyed the previous Superman Earth 1 graphic novels, come and get it. That's it. We're done.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I do want to mention real quick. Somebody emailed me today asking about back issues and whether the publishers monitor the sales of back issues in comic shops, and that's how they know if a character is becoming popular again. And I think we take it for granted that not everybody knows how a comic shop works and how the comic book publishing works. So the answer to that question is publishers don't know what sells after it's sold to a comic shop. So they only monitor...
Well, publishers don't even necessarily know. I mean, they know what Diamond has orders for. I mean, they don't even know what's...
They don't know
that
what
is the same as selling to a
Well, they don't know
comic
what the
shop.
ultimate sell-through is.
Right.
So we can order 500 copies of Superman Earth 1. All that DC cares about is that they sold 500 copies to us, and they don't even know it's to us. They know that they sold X number of copies to comic shops. We may never sell a copy in the shop, so it doesn't reach the end consumer, but that doesn't matter to DC. All they care about is that they sold X number of copies to comic shops. There is no way for comic publishers to track back issues that are sold in individual comic shops.
There's no way through the publishers themselves. There are a few news outlets and comic websites that check in with large with large shops and cities and have like the information's out there, but it's hardly scientific and it's far from complete.
And it's hard to find. I mean, it used to be published in certain insider magazines, and it's not available anymore. And what sells really well for us in the Midwest may not sell well on the East Coast or the West Coast and vice versa. So publishers really only care about the new stuff. So new graphic novels, new comic books. Back issues, the only people that care is your local comic shop who wants to move those and make some money. There we go. Continue sending questions our way, and we'll do an awesome job answering those for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.